Hey, welcome back to the evening drive. Listen, if you're driving home right now, stuck in traffic, or just sitting in a parking lot, no, pretending you're still on the phone, and that way you don't have to go back inside yet, you're in the right place. This show's auto related, yeah, but honestly, it's for everybody because if you're selling cars, selling houses, selling ideas, whatever it is, you're just trying to survive work and keep your sanity. So you're here, and you're going to relate to this. All right, we're talking real life, real news, real opinions. My name's Sam Cox. I'm along with my man Evan Walters, and Evan, we have a special guest. You want to go ahead and introduce our special guest today?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. What up, Sam? What up, my peeps? Everybody listening. Grateful to be here. Blessed as always. We got a special guest today. My guy, Rel Delgado.
What's
Been
up,
my
guys?
best friend for a long time. We can consider ourselves business partners, right?
Now we can, yeah.
Moving forward, long time
Yeah,
coming, man. We dreamt about this when we were younger, man, young and dumb, doing dumb things, not business things, right? But now we get to team up on the business side. I'm super excited and grateful, and thank you for being here, man. Tell us a little bit about your company. You know more than I do about what YZ Media is and what you guys do and your passion and all those things. Give us a quick little intro.
yeah. So, like he said, my name is Rel Delgado. My name is actually Ariel Delgado, but everybody kind of knows me as Rel. That's how I'm on social media. But yeah, so I started YZ Media probably about 6 years ago. I actually have a background in radio. I grew up in the radio station, Spanish radio. I've been doing that since I was 5 years old. That's when I got my first radio shows at 5 years old. And so I kind of grew up in the world
That's
marketing.
crazy.
Yeah, I had no choice. My family has actually been operating this radio station since '98. So it's older than maybe some of the people watching this, the radio
Yeah.
station. So I've been doing this for a long time. And so yeah, I grew up in like marketing, scripts, advertisement, all that kind of stuff. And as I was coming of age, I realized, social media, digital advertising, that's the future. That's where I need to kind of position myself. And so yeah, I started YZ back in 2019. Great year to start a business, right before right before COVID hit, pandemic. But we're here, we're blessed, we're still thriving, growing actually. Like you said, we're working on this partnership now with 800% and this new product, this new program actually that we're developed and we're trying to present to dealerships all over the country is to show them that there's a path to new customers without really having to change much about your business or anything. You just including a new part of the market that maybe you kind of have put off, put to the
Dude,
side.
that's I don't mean to interrupt you, but like that's super important, right? That piece that you just said, you don't have to really change what you're doing. It's like a parallel universe that a lot of dealerships just don't think about, haven't put on the priority list, or have the what they would this is what they would say. We don't have the resources or the people, or
They just don't
we don't
want to
know.
change. I mean, it's not the
Yeah,
way, it's the way we've always done things. I
Right.
mean,
exactly. So you're mirroring what they don't really have to change anything. It's just you're going to show them how to plug some of the resources in place to tap into this additional profit center. I love it, man. I love it. So
and
what
then
are
Rel, me and you started working together like when I was still with Dan Cummins. So when was that? Was that like 2021 or something like
I
that?
think it was
Something like
around
that?
21. It was a little bit after
Yeah.
pandemic, and it was kind of when that shift when everyone was like, "Oh, like we got to be doing online. Like we really got to take
Right.
that more seriously." Because everybody went inside and was on their phones all day long. So I think it was around 21, yeah, when we first
2020, yeah.
started
And
working
the
together.
videos are insane. I mean, and they've just gotten better. I mean, you've showed me some recently. I mean, they get better and better and better. But
Appreciate it.
your work is top notch, dude. Always has been. Always has been.
Appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, we always kind of strive to just continuously grow, get better. When we buy gear, we buy gear that we think is going to help push our business into the future, and then that provides a longer product to especially car dealerships. Now that we're really, we've worked with a lot of different types of industries. At the beginning of the business, we were working with real estate, with construction, roofers, and I don't know, I kinda always have had a love for cars, and I can't seem to get away from the dealership. So I said, "Let's niche down. Let's figure out what my angle is, how I can kinda create my own blue ocean in the, dealership world." And I think it's in this and really helping dealerships maximize, their potential when they're advertising and reaching out to the Hispanic community. I mean, we're huge, guys. I don't know if people know this, but the Hispanic community's purchasing power is estimated at, like, $2.5 trillion, I think. It'd be the
Wow.
8th largest economy in the world if just the Latino and Hispanic market in the US was its own country. The 8th largest economy in the world.
Jesus.
So many untapped opportunities, right? And you're right, man. A blue ocean strategy. You're saying a lot of these things just like rolling off your tongue, bro. Like you're an expert at being an entrepreneur, right? But not everybody listening to these conversations or this podcast understands some of the things that you mentioned. So I want to bring up kind of on the entrepreneur side to give some of our listeners a perspective that maybe they're not used to, right? Some of these people are salespeople at dealerships, or they're salespeople at furniture stores, or selling homes, and they're kind of siloed to that, a business within a business. But when you start your own true business and you are the boss man, right? You boss man or woman, and you get to make the actual final decisions. There's a lot of risk that goes into it. Yeah, there's win and flexibility, but not a lot of people talk about, the messiness and the unorganizedness and the things that pop up that you don't plan for, right?
I
So
think a lot of people think that it's like you just got a lot of free time and that yeah, you don't
yeah,
have you work less hours, and honestly, yeah, you work more. I mean, you work more hours than you do like even when you have a 9 to 5 or even inside of a dealership.
How
yeah,
many times have
well,
y'all left the office and then you still got a phone call that you had to deal with when you were home?
right,
Almost every single day.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. I think that is something that a lot of people kind of push to the side when they're thinking, because I think social media has kind of glamorized becoming an entrepreneur. It's cool, it's fun, which I mean, it is. It is. If I think it's really
Oh
important
yeah.
to kind of have a foundation though of knowing who you are, what skills you have, what skills you don't have is almost more important, and who and how you can fill those voids that you might have as an entrepreneur. Because I can't do everything. I have a business partner who you guys have met him, you guys have seen him around. He's more of my like administrative guy. He makes sure that paperwork's done. He makes sure that I get to meetings on time. I get to phone calls on time. And I've actually brought him into the world of the camera. Like, so you have to kind of like put on different hats and learn different stuff too.
yeah. I agree with that. I agree with that. If you could give people two top things, if they were to start a business today, drop everything and start a business, what would be the top two things that you would tell
First, make sure you have some money saved up.
them?
Dude, it takes a
Yeah.
lot of money, it takes
Yes.
capital to
Yep.
start a business. So unless you have some kind of angel investor, you got a rich mom and dad, I would say make sure you have a couple months of bills like saved up,
Yeah.
ready to go because you're going to have to invest not just time, but money into the business. I'd say that's the first thing. That's like my entrepreneur
I like
mindset
Well,
first.
that one's crucial. I think that one's critical. I
It's
mean,
huge.
like if I hadn't had I had a little bit of money saved up before I started this journey,
same.
and like if I hadn't, there's no way because we've had people come in that they couldn't because they didn't have the money saved up. So they couldn't put the same time. So Evan and I we do some different travel that we don't get paid to do sometimes, but that's because we can because we had it saved up a little bit. So that's a great point there. I agree with that one, real.
No,
Yes.
I think that I've seen, like you just said, excuse me, I've seen a lot of people that they make the leap, they have the skills, they have the drive, but when you have a family, when you have a kid at home, you have bills, like you got to have that saved up.
And a lifestyle.
Yeah,
I
and a
mean, we
certain
all have a
lifestyle.
lifestyle. I mean,
People that go into startups and go into these things, we have a good taste. We like nice
yes,
stuff, you know what I'm saying? So
yes.
that's important. And I'd say the second thing, it comes back to the like, just make sure you're passionate about what you're chasing. Don't leave a good job
Mm.
if you're not passionate about what you're about to go do. You got to believe with conviction what you're about to
Yep.
do is actually going to change things and solve problems. That's the biggest thing with a business, right? Solve somebody's problems. Make
Yep.
sure that
Agreed.
it's not just I like coffee, so let me start a coffee shop. What's different about your coffee shop than the other 50 that are around you? So definitely take the time to make sure it's something you're passionate about and that you are willing to go all in on.
I like that point. That's a solid point right there. I mean, it really is. I like coffee, but what's different? What's different about yours
Yeah,
than
I mean,
everybody
I
else's?
can
I
get a
mean,
ten
that's
ten dollar
true.
bag of coffee at Walmart that's gonna last me a month. Why should I go spend almost $10 on one from you? Like, make it worth
Yeah.
it for me. What's different? Why do you stand out?
And that
Wow.
I think a big thing too is that honeymoon phase is gonna disappear, right? Like
Ooh, yes.
your little passion and your little, oh, I love to do it and I don't care if I get paid as much and all that shit goes away, bro. Like I'm gonna tell you, I went 6 months with $0 out, any income, zero, bro. And like to Sam and Rel's point, I wouldn't be able to do what I did if I didn't work my ass off and invest the money and stack it
No.
away for
Mhm.
a, a rainy day fund or whatever you want to call it, right? Like
Yeah.
we have to be smart with the decisions that we make and understand that it's not going to be rainbows and butterflies forever. You got to get through those hard times too. And then eventually, it's not, we're preaching like it's a terrible thing. Eventually, it's going to be amazing, right? If you continue to put in the work, you do the things right, you stick with it even in the down times and when you're not feeling quote unquote successful. Because success to me, a big thing, success on the entrepreneur side is it looks a little different than on the employee side,
Yeah.
right? At least for me it did. Like I had more tangible, or I don't know the word, more things I could point to that I could call success as an employee, but as an entrepreneur, those they're unique wins, right? Like I can have unique wins other than just those data backed wins,
Well, but
right?
I think the difference when you're an employee, right, and being the actual people in charge, whether you're also a GM or, higher up directors, is that when you're higher up, you're the one setting the goals for everybody, right? When you're an employee, you already have the goal set out for you. Like you already know what you got to do this
Right,
week. As
right.
the person that's in charge, you have to like tote this line of like pushing people, but not pushing them too far. And the goals have to continuously move, right? Like they continuously
Mhm.
go up. Little, all right, we hit that. I know we can hit 10 more next month. Like that's the difference. I think is that there's as an employee, you don't have to think of okay, well, what is the next step from this? You're like, well, I hit the goal of the week.
Yeah. Yep. Agreed.
Now, I do think we need to make sure that we point out too that with especially with since we're talking about dealerships, especially car salespeople, that ownership mentality and managers too, but that ownership mentality inside of a store, what that can bring to a store. And Evan, I think you'll attest to this, and Rel, you've been around DC enough to know. I mean, that's the mentality that we built over the years. There was that ownership mentality to where our sales people, they were like they knew they could make some calls. Our managers, I mean, they knew they weren't just like, okay, how do I get to sell this car and move on to the next one? They also knew what's in it for them going down the road.
No, I agree.
Absolutely.
I agree because when you're, especially in the car industry, a lot of this is like you rely a lot in the car industry on that first sale, right? For them to keep coming back for service, for referrals, for the next vehicle that they're gonna buy. So, like, I think in the car market, especially in the car industry, when you work in there, no matter where you are, whether in service, sales, and stuff, it's just really important to have good leadership too to guide those guys that are first coming in or that maybe don't see the opportunities that are within their auto group to grow into they might think like I work in BDC, that's where I'm at. No, like you keep working and you can get yourself up to, I mean, how many people that have you guys seen that started? I mean, Evan is actually a great example of that. I
Ivan,
remember this guy used to scrub the floors and the not the floors, the mats in the cars and
Wax on,
detailing
wax off,
and,
Mr. Miyagi, motherfucker, right? Wax on,
dude,
wax
and we
off.
see
set
some
them
nasty
down.
stuff. I remember a vehicle coming in that was like, I thought it was ashes in the floorboard, and it was fingernails.
Yeah.
It
Oh,
was like
yeah,
fingernails and stuff that were in the floorboard. That's gross.
Yeah,
yeah,
my guy Evan came from the bottom and he worked his way, I mean, all the way to the
Yep.
top and then changed kind of, but he's still in the auto industry and chasing more and more opportunities. So there's always room to grow too.
yep. I
Yeah.
love that, man. I love that. One thing I do want to make sure that we touch on is tapping into that other market, tapping into that Spanish community, tapping in to, you said the eighth, what would you say? How'd you say that? The eighth what?
So if the Hispanic and Latin community, I like to say both words, right? Because that's also
Yeah,
something we like to preach to
Mm-hmm.
people is that they're different. There's a difference between Hispanics and Latinos, although they all speak Spanish. But if
yeah,
you combine that group here in the United States, that would be the eighth largest economy in the world. If it was its own like country, it was own
Yeah.
GDP. It's I think, $2.5 trillion about. And we're one of the fastest in growing businesses right now, home ownership. I mean, this group is not going anywhere, regardless of what things may look like in politics or in anything. That group of people is not going anywhere. This is the continent. I mean, it
yeah,
is majority Spanish speaking people. So to act like well, you can put it to the side, eventually it's going to nip you in the butt, or your competitors
yeah.
are going to take advantage.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I think a lot of people just don't understand how to tap into it. Not
Yeah.
that they wouldn't,
Hmm.
or they see it and they're like, man, I don't want to take that on. They just don't know where to start. So you said the first thing you're like, there's a difference between Latino and Hispanic, right? Is that what you said?
Yeah, so when you talk about Hispanic, normally, you're talking about Mexico, Central America is going to be your main ones. So that's like Mexico, Honduras, Guatemala, the smaller countries in between. When you hear Latin, a lot of times you're talking about South America and some of the areas of the Caribbean. So that now you're talking about Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic, and down South America, Colombia and Venezuela. These are all very different countries. They all speak
Mhm.
Spanish, but they're Spanish. Go speak English to somebody in New York. Take somebody from
Right.
the South, the deep South, take them up to New York. These people aren't gonna know how to talk to each other. So within this country, we already kind of you already know that there are different dialects, there's different
Hmm.
slang. So it is complicated. And I understand why dealerships are kind of like, ugh, I don't know, a little off put
Yeah.
by it because yeah, just using a Google Translate is not gonna cut it anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. So what's one thing, like the first thing you go into a dealership or a business and they are like, all right, Rail, we want to tap into the Hispanic and the Latino communities. What's like the first two things that you would do?
So like in our program, our phase one, what we call it, which is we try to focus on this within the first well, let's say the first quarter that we're working with a dealership, we like to make sure that every step that is available in your dealership from BDC to sales, F&I, service, any of that, that there's at least one person in there that speaks Spanish. So that's a big part of our program is to help guide these dealerships and even help in the process of hiring where they might have those shortfalls. Because it is important to have, you might get the person in BDC does a great job, and then hands them over to someone in sales. Okay, they know Spanish, but then F&I, which is really the bread and butter of the whole process, and then there's nobody there.
Yeah.
And I think having uh, somebody in there that maybe doesn't take every single sale that's a Spanish, but that can be pulled in to help guide somebody who isn't a Spanish speaker dealing with a client that is. I think that's a big part for us. So that first phase is really about making sure that the pieces are in place first before you can really start marketing yourself as a Hispanic friendly dealership.
I love
Now,
it.
and I was always explaining the reason being is because it's the same boat. I mean, me and Evan can actually kind of, we could like kind of relate in this part of it is you're if you speak don't speak Hispanic, you don't speak Spanish, you don't speak any of that, and you're looking at paperwork that's in English, or whatever, you don't understand the language, you're trying to figure it out, you don't feel comfortable, you feel like you're being taken advantage of. Like if I was in, let's say I was in Mexico and I was getting ready to buy something, and everything's in Spanish and I can't read it at all. I'm not understanding what I'm signing, but I've got somebody sitting here next to me speaking English and trying to translate the paperwork. Do I trust them? There's the part of it. Do I trust them? So I was always told, I think, like Luis and George. I think they always explained to me that fact there that it makes it more to where they trust you.
Yeah.
If you're able to like see not only you're able to not only see the paperwork, but maybe we can actually like translate it a little bit better into it.
Yeah, I think that and that spins me to a different area of topic of like we need to have paperwork that's in Spanish too,
Hmm.
right? Like I don't
It's tough to get. I tried.
I was gonna say I don't know that we went to that level. So
We
that's an area of opportunity for you. Take that note. We need to figure out
Oh,
how to get not only the spoken word, but we need to figure out how to get the written word because I think
hmm
that would really help on a compliance standpoint, and that would really help that customer understand. Like if they don't understand, like you said, there's Hispanic and Latino. Maybe they don't understand the dialect completely. They can't say right because the wording now, correct me if I'm wrong, but the wording pretty much they could understand. It would be a black and white type
yeah, yeah.
overall.
Especially when it comes to stuff like that, like finances and all those, that's different. You were talking about, in the process of the sale, knowing how to
Right.
communicate with them. But yeah, when you're getting into finance and all that, those terms are all the same, pretty much
The
across the board.
legality
Yeah,
portion.
exactly. And that's
Yep.
what you're saying, like what Sam said, like if you happen to be in Mexico, you are decided to retire down there and you're gonna buy a car, but you don't really know. I mean, and not just buy, you're financing. Financing is
Right.
the
hmm
word right there. Like that's an agreement that I'm gonna pay you for the next 5 years on something. So
Yeah.
people want to just be sure in it, and those little things like having the paperwork, one of the tips that we give people is like, I know that sometimes it can feel a bit much when you might be talking to the youngest person in that family. They speak perfect English, they went to college, but their grandparents came with them or their parents came with them. And a lot of times, you're not really having to sell to the parents or the elder, but that's another customer right there, first off. Like, there's another opportunity to sell another car. But
That's
just
right.
saying "Hola," like, just something nice, simple, like, those kinda things, it just shows that they can trust you. Trust goes a long way in this community. If you can gain the trust of that one person, their entire network is gonna come to you. There's actually a report that was done, I think in, like, 2022 that I think it was, like, 54 to 53% of the Spanish-speaking buyers are willing to drive a half hour more to a different dealership that will speak in their language or that has the stuff in their language, and it makes it more accessible to them.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
half hour more. I mean, I mean, how many miles is that? I mean, I'm sure that's your competition.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly right. Exactly right. I love
And
that.
I know you can do it. I've seen websites. I mean, I've seen in Texas, I've seen many websites where you can switch it. And I know some dealerships have even went to that. But you know, when I had George and like Luis and Melissa and all those guys, they were all explaining that to me. And when they're running out to like going out and to the festivals and to the different things, you know, to the horse parks and things like that. We're trying to get all that, the language, and no, I mean, companies are not programmed for that. You know, the ones that we use, which were large companies, were not situated to be able to put anything in Spanish. So that is something that needs to be worked on.
I
Yeah,
agree.
no, I think there's a lot of room for improvement in that. That's again, that's why we are kinda taking this kind of lane to really push it out there, and, hopefully, we're not the only ones who end up doing this, and that it just really is something that's good for our community. I've always been, really involved in community, and it's just really important for me to bridge the gap. There's so much more in common than different in our
Yeah.
cultures, and, sometimes just having bridge.
I tell you
Yeah.
one thing though, Rel. I tell you one thing, you guys' food fucking kicks our ass, bro.
Oh
The
yeah,
street
yeah.
Yeah,
tacos,
The
the
street tacos.
food's a big
you
thing, like
name
food, family, gathering, like,
it.
talking, those are the kind of things where, like, those are important still in our community.
That's right.
Yeah,
I
for
love
sure.
it.
Yeah,
Dude,
a good street taco you can't beat. I
I
mean,
was
it's
the
you just can't.
I was like the white friend, right? Like all my friends were definitely darker than me and different demographics than me. I was that guy, right? I was the cool white dude. I loved it.
Hey,
I loved
let's get to the tech side real quick. So I know you're doing a lot of media stuff, and I know you showed me some stuff. I mean, you carry around that Pelican box with all sorts of stuff in there.
Yeah.
So for a salesperson, I want you to think of this as a salesperson point of view. All right, not myself, not Evan, not somebody. A salesperson's point of view. What is one quality piece of tech that you think they could use to do social media? What would be the one piece if you had to say?
Uh, if I had to say just off the top of my head, your
Yeah.
phone, your cell phone, you have $1,000 cell phone in your pocket with an amazing camera, use it. Put it on
So
the
you
tripod.
don't need a fancy you don't need a fancy ground like buy one of these $2,000 or $3,000 cameras,
Don't
right?
do that, and that eliminates any
Necessarily
excuse.
to start
Any
off with.
excuse you had of not doing something is now gone. I just got rid of it. Use your phone. It Dude, there's videos that we've made with a phone and it got a bunch of views. Like it's not about it's about the intention behind the video anymore. So just you that's my number one tip is just use your phone, do something, post something. You're a brand as well. Like even if you're a person that's in a dealership and you know you are a good salesman. You might not be at the right dealership. My man, your followers are gonna follow you. Lady, please post. Like everybody needs to be posting. You are your own brand.
Yep.
So now you maybe you post a lot and you want to upgrade your posts. What would be that piece of equipment? You're like, oh no, this is like
You know what?
I
I got it
love
right here.
this.
I got it right here. I'm gonna grab it real quick. This little guy right here.
I knew you were going to it for
This
it.
little guy right here is the best. Well, it depends
What is
on
it?
where you get it. This is called a DJI Osmo Pocket 3. This thing's tiny. You can shoot vertical. You
Ooh.
can shoot wide 4K, you can get slow-mo, you can get time lapses. It's, stabilized, so even if I move, the camera stays still. It's this right
Fit
here
in
is
your pocket.
best thing you can buy under $1,000, whether you're in the car dealership or you have a business, you wanna vlog, like anything. This is the best camera you can buy in the market
What,
under
what is it one more
$1,000.
time?
the DJI Osmo Pocket 3.
Osmo Pocket
And I'm
3.
sure they're gonna come out with a new one. You know all these tech companies, they come out.
Oh yeah.
But keep an eye out for something like this. This is your best option, guys. This right here is stabilized footage, 4K. I mean, there's a bunch of things. I'm not paid by DJI, so I'm not gonna hook them up with everything. But this right here, if they wanna sponsor me, I'll keep talking.
Yeah,
That's the best
yeah,
thing you can
yeah.
do.
I love it.
We'll work on that.
I love it, man. Well, I think we brought a lot of value in a short amount of time. I appreciate you for jumping on with us, Rel. You're our first guest. A lot of entrepreneurship talk, a lot of opportunity within the dealership, within running a business. If you're not tapping in, the thing I got from it today is if you're not tapping in to the Hispanic and Latino market, you are losing millions of dollars a year. We're just going to go ahead and say it like that. If you are not tapping in, or at least currently trying to tap in to the Hispanic and Latino market, millions of dollars per year from your business are just blowing away. You might as well pay me, Rel, and Sam, right?
That's right.
Yeah, and I wanna
That's
leave
right.
y'all with this. 84% of Hispanic car buyers are online searching for their car. So if you're not online, you don't exist. You don't exist. So
Well, let's give everybody a little plug for your business. So tell, if somebody wants to reach out to you, contact you, like give some information about you, hire you, whatever. How do they reach you?
So find us first off, go find us online, give us a like on social media. You can find us at YZ Media KY, or just YZ Media KY. Also, our website is yzmediaky.com. And if you guys want, you can text me directly, text me your name, say you saw me on here, whatever, 859-913-8907. You don't have to call me. You can text me if that makes it easier. We can get in contact. However, email is the same, yzmediaky@gmail. I try to make it as easy for everybody to find us.
Let's say common thread there.
Yeah, yeah.
And Sam, if you'll throw that in maybe when you upload it, so that way people don't have to go back and reference it, and it'll be there for anyone that needs it. But again, Rel, Sam, as always, it's awesome. I love doing these, and let's rock out. Let's go.
Let's rock out.
Sam.
Let's win the friggin' day. Let's go. Let's win the day.
Good.
See you guys.
Appreciate you guys. Y'all be good.